What's up guys, I'm Shermzy and I thought it'd be helpful to the community and create a beginner's guide to speedrunning and how you could improve your gameplay dramatically by learning how to speedrun. I'll share what I've personally learned having only recently started speedrunning and already received a world record within a certain update version of the game. Maybe you just got good with a certain weapon or two and want to take your gameplay to the next level. Well, you've come to the right place. The main reason I started speedrunning is because I achieved everything I wanted to do in the game, except grinding for those damn jewels. And I wanted to spice up my experience without even realizing how much it would improve my gameplay, let alone get to a point where I'll post a world record. Let me confirm from personal experience, you will 100% improve your overall gameplay as soon as you start and complete your first speedrun and achieve a result or time you're happy with. When I started, I thought I was good, having had over 1,000 hours at the time, but as soon as I finished my first run, I already learned new skills and valued the importance of certain mechanics of the game, which we'll get into a bit. I already considered myself a fairly advanced player before speedrunning, but honestly, speedrunning took my gameplay to the next level, and to me, Monster Hunter was like a new game. So first of all, what does speedrunning mean in Monster Hunter World or within the community? 99% of runs are done by selecting any specific quest, be it story or optional quests, and choosing a certain weapon. Then the objective is to load up the quest and finish the quest as soon as possible with your personal fastest time possible. Simple as that, until RNG kicks in, but we'll get back into that. The remaining 1% of speedruns are through the story, like a lot of games, which is not what we will be talking about and is not typically what the community means when they refer to speedrunning. So speedruns, they are achieved per quest, per weapon type, per speedrun category. If someone says they got a world record, for example, it doesn't mean they got the fastest ever time in the world for that quest. It means they got the fastest time for that specific quest with a specific weapon on a specific speedrun category. So essentially, there's a possibility of 28 world record holders just for one quest, since there's 14 weapon types in the game between two speedrun categories. Moving on, there are two types of speedrun categories you can choose from. One is freestyle, which means everything goes. You can ledge hop, wall slam, boulder drop, spam traps, use mantles, etc. Literally get the fastest time possible with everything that the game offers you, just as you normally play casually. It's probably the easiest place to start, but it's personal preference. I only say it's the easiest because that's what you're used to, right? The other speedrun category, arguably the competitive version of speedruns, or the more competitive, is called TA, or TA Wiki Rules, which stands for Time Attack. But more importantly, it means the only way you're allowed to do damage is by your weapon alone. Just your weapon. So there's no mantles, no wall slams, no traps, no ledge hopping, no mounting. You have to spawn at camp, and many, many more rules. What I'll do, I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check out the latest TA rules. These may get updated from time to time. It should be the same link, but just bear that in mind. Both speedrun categories are competitive, and it's all about personal choice. Some people dedicate their runs to one category, others like to do both. Me personally, I love TA runs, since I like the challenge of the monster being able to hit me back at all times, and it's different to how I would play casually. Everyone has their own reasons, it's personal choice. Now we have gone through what does speedrunning mean and the different categories, it's only logical to consider how does one prepare for a speedrun. Since now I've decided on a quest or monster, weapon, and speedrun category, I'm going to share how I prepared and give some advice to help you. If any speedrunners out there have any personal advice, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Before speedrunning, I would search for the best speedrunners on YouTube for my weapon choice and follow and subscribe to them. Typically, I would watch the top 3 fastest times for that specific quest and study them, since one runner may be better than the other at certain mechanics of the fight. Plus, different runners will experience different RNG, and learning how each runner deal with certain scenarios will help you greatly as you evolve your own playstyle. The easiest and fastest way to find the best speedrunners is checking out the leaderboards, and thankfully there is a single site that the speedrunning community uses, and I'll post a link to the website below. This website is not only for speedrunners, I recommend it to anybody, honestly. Just share it with your friends if they're interested to see how to optimally kill a monster with a specific weapons. Obviously their favorite weapons or weapons. Also, I would recommend joining the Discords of speedrunners, and a good start are the Discords listed in the website I've mentioned. Somewhere in the About Me or Community section, and of course your favorite speedrunner Discords if they have one. Some Discords has some useful resources like hit zone values and mathematical stats for each monster or weapon, which can be very helpful. Plus, you can connect with a large community of speedrunners of every level and keep posted of all the latest runs from all over the world. You get resources. I think that's been really helpful, and something I didn't really expect when I first joined the Discords. So you don't have to, if you're not a chatty person, you don't have to chat. There's enough information there to help you out too. Now that we have studied from watching other speedruns, what do we have to do or consider within a speedrun other than beat the monster up? The priority is read the rules of the speedrun category and understand them all before starting. Ask in the comments below if you don't understand anything. Myself, or I'm sure other people within the community, can help out in the comments. So when you land into the quest, you need to get to that monster ASAP, and at the same time buff your character up. How do you buff your character? On the way to the monster could affect seconds of your time, so consider this carefully. How you initially start the fight with the initial hit or getting attention of the monster is the next step to consider. Do you want to get the monster agitated, so you start the fight with the agitator skill kicking in? Or do you avoid early agitation and just weaken it, which in most cases avoids certain movesets triggered from an agitated state? It could be various reasons. There are 2 big examples, but every monster is different, so bear this in mind. But starting off, probably imitate the best runners you have been studying and following. That's probably the best place to start, and then you'll slowly evolve from that. The best runners already tested most scenarios, and if you strive in being a world record holder or top tier speedrunner, you will need to do the same by scripting your own fight, but this is very advanced since it involves positioning yourself to position the monster and perhaps lure certain attacks with a given RNG and lots more. Each weapon has unique points to consider, but we're keeping it simple and generic in this video. As you may have gathered, the aim is to get off as much damage as possible in the fastest time possible, so focus on weak spots. Anticipate the monster's movesets. After any given move of any monster, they have a set number of moves they can follow up with. Bear this in mind when you're learning how to truly anticipate a monster's next move. You may notice some top 3 speedruns are within seconds of each other, but all have slightly different builds or completely different builds, for example, elemental versus raw builds. But I would recommend choosing a build you're most comfortable with and build your strategy of your run around your build and the monster. So the next discussion. RNG. RNG is a huge factor and unfortunately the worst part of speedrunning in Monster Hunter World. That's why you see most speedruns are done within the arena, because, for example, within TA rules, you have to spawn at the start at camp. And that's within the rules, where possible for any quests. So if you have a Wingdrake spawn you into the map or by the monster, you gotta reset, and you gotta keep resetting until you get the camp spawn. And it's just honestly just a lot of wasted time there. So that's why. Well, me personally, I would love to do speed runs. You know, in the map, but honestly, because of the amount of times I have to reset, like my preference is arena. Yeah, you know, there's so much RNG involved already, you know. So that's what I do. Other RNG factors are the meals you eat before you start, because most runners are looking for the daily skill Feline Weakener, for example, which means the monster will start with a HP value equal to their minimum HP and no more than their average HP. Just to explain a little more, without this skill, you know, normally most or every quest I know, the spawn monster has a random HP value which can randomly be set, typically plus or minus 5%. So there's always a possibility for plus or minus 5% when you go into quest. So what you want ideally is obviously the lowest value is minus 5% HP, and this could be the difference between setting up a whole SAD for a charge blade as an example, which takes a lot of time. And the size of the monster is also RNG, where in my experience the smaller the size of the monster, the better the run. So I would also reset if I noticed a ridiculously large version at the start of the fight. So other than dealing with meal, spawn, HP, and size of monster, you gotta consider the RNG of the monster moveset. My advice is don't just fight the monster and focus on critical hits. Study what moves do the monster follow up with each moveset they got, so you can position and anticipate the monster better. The key word here is anticipate. PC players has the greatest advantage with the ability in removing all these RNG issues through the use of mods. So those considering speedrunning on PC, just make sure you look up the available mods and potential rules relating to PC speedruns, which should be on the website linked below, because you guys have a much more stress-free experience, trust me. Thankfully, regarding leaderboards, I heard there's a separate leaderboard for PC, so console players, we still got this baby. At the end of the day, console runs has no mods, so no one can question you, which is the only disadvantage versus PC, if that is even one. Okay, so before I get to the conclusion, I need to say, if you guys enjoyed or found this video useful, please hit me up with a like. And if you want to support or encourage me to do more videos, please smash that subscribe button. I mean, smash it. And many thanks in advance. Okay, continuing. In terms of the basics, I think we've covered everything, or a lot of it. Just make sure at the end of the fight you show all your builds, time, etc., which is listed in the rules of the speedrunning website, or watch any speedrun posted on the website to see how people display their builds and etc. at the end. I do wish in so many ways I had a video like this or got shown something like this, because I would have speedrun a lot earlier. I mean, like maybe even like 5 hours into the game, I would have, I would have easily surpassed where I am right now. But yeah, since my initial perception of speedrunning was people completing story-based games as fast as possible, and those content don't normally interest me. Thus, it was never really on my radar. But speedrunning in Monster Hunter is unique, where I like to think it is, where it's quest specific and it only takes minutes. The biggest advantage in attempting to speedrun is that it's probably the fastest way for anyone that's intermediate level and above to improve their gameplay, like real fast. Plus the buzz you get after achieving your personal goal is really something else. It's easily the biggest buzz I've had from playing this game, even more than that jewel you've been grinding days for. I still don't have a single top tier jewel, you know, them double handicraft, double agi, double attack, the extra double. I've got nothing. But why RNG? Anyway, well, thanks for tuning in, and a big thank you for all those who have liked the video, and especially huge thanks to those who have subscribed to the channel. Take it easy and happy hunting!